Opportunity from Crisis by Karen Masters of Artarmon 2064. Narrated by Janine Penfold. In 1956, a student-held revolt against the Soviets began a crisis that spread to Austria and Yugoslavia. After the borders closed, 200,000 refugees were resettled in 37 countries, and, as it happened, my stepfather was one of them. He and several friends chose Australia. When he was younger, Attila had wanted to be a film producer, but with the student revolt in 1956, he fled Budapest, along with 200,000 men and women, leaving behind families, friends, businesses, livelihoods, and material goods. 3,000 of these refugees migrated to Australia. Attila ended up in Sydney. Physically, with its overly bright, wide sky and warm climate, multitude of beaches, and unique flora and fauna, Australia was so different he might have been on another planet. Culturally, it lagged behind the rest of the world, appearing to be a colonial backwater, but he and his friends were welcomed, made to feel at home, and soon they found their niche. They rolled up their sleeves and began businesses. Then Attila met my mother. He hardly spoke a word of English, but it seemed that language was not a barrier. They both strove to bridge the linguistic divide. Most of his friends were older than Mum, and their wives helped her to develop a sophisticated fashion sense. She bought a Hungarian cookbook and made such delights as goulash, stuffed peppers and cabbage, stuffed crepes, paprika chicken, and cauliflower soup. A local restaurant became a Sunday lunchtime favourite with its European meals and enormous flavourful cakes. The Immigrant Telegraph was where we found electricians, plumbers, builders, architects, lawyers, dentists, doctors, lawyers, and fashionistas. Everybody in the Hungarian community knew everybody else, and if we weren't in the know, we could easily discover skilled tradesmen. They lived and worked in cliques, but also with and alongside most of the Anglo-Irish Australian populace. Their energy and drive to make a better life for themselves rubbed off on the rest, and like the other post-war migrants such as Greeks, Italians, Polish and Chinese, they brought languages, food, history and knowledge. I attended a multicultural primary school, and my best friend was a Greek Australian. Born in Australia to Greek parents, I happily went with them to every wedding, birthday, Easter and church ceremony in that big community. One of my dearest friends emigrated to Australia from Hong Kong. His family have expanded and made successful livings as restaurateurs and food producers. Recently, many people from all over the globe call Australia home, and we are the richer for it. How things have changed since '56. The blatant racism that was prevalent back then is no longer permissible. We encourage and embrace people of all races, creeds and abilities. Though fortunate to be raised in a multicultural household, I treasured the English heritage on my mother's side, but I was able to adopt the attitudes of those who were also fortunate to call this place home. Australia was a golden land of opportunity, and the people who formerly faced disaster helped the fledgling colony become what it is today. The end.